Okay, so for all this application, this is application software as we discussed. Build server, deployment server, and then database server. Okay, for each and everywhere I have a hard disk, hard disk, hard disk, hard disk. Okay. So and then I need a operating system for each and every server. Okay. So here HDD and here also HDD. Again here also HDD. Okay. So again here I have operating system. Operating system. Operational software. And then build software. And then deployment software. And then database like MySQL or Oracle. Okay, so that means for each and every for simple application I need application server, build server, and then deployment server, and then database server. So something any application server is down, what will happen? So again I have to see this concentrate is very important for that. For again I need a so application server backup, and then so build server backup, and then deployment server backup, and then so database server backup. So for each and every backup server also I need again see the same thing. Okay, hardware and then OS and then application software. HDD, 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 OS. Okay, so again OS, yeah, OS, application software, application software, and then build software, deployment software, and then database. Okay, so for simple application, I want to maintain a simple application. I need application server and then build server and then deployment server and then so database server. For each and every server, I need a backup server as well. These are the backup servers. Okay, so these these are the backup servers. Also, I need a backup server. So what will happen? So for each and every server, I am so I purchased the hard disk and then I purchased the operating system. I purchased the application software, hard disk and OS and then build software, hard disk OS and then deployment software, hard disk OS and then database software, hard disk OS and then hard disk and OS and then as well as a application software for each and every server. So here if you see the data backup server, so backup server, what will happen? Backup server only yearly once or twice only I'll use it. So that means whenever my application server is down, so till my application server is up, I'll use the backup server. Okay. So build server. So whenever build server is there, build backup server is there. So till my build server is up, that time only I'll use the backup server. That means yearly once or twice. That is 1 day or 2 days only I'll use it. But what is happening here is, so even though I am using only 1 or 2 days, so I am still purchasing operating system, complete operating system, Microsoft operating system, like whatever the operating system is there, or Red Hat operating system. I am paying 100% license cost to the vendor or software vendor who is providing the software. Like hard disk, I have a 500 GB. Let us say 500 GB hard disk is here. So even though I am not using this machine, so what is happening? So still it is 500 GB hard disk. I purchased it and then so I am using it. So that same way, operating system also I am using. The operating system for Microsoft operating system, there is no something yearly only I use only 2 times. So please reduce my cost. So people don't purchase operating system in those lines. Okay, so people will purchase operating system. People will sell the operating system on a license base. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? Our entire license cost as well as the hardware resource cost is so waste, right? Our entire license cost as well as the hardware cost is waste. So because why? Because we are using only once or twice in a year, or maximum twice in a year. So that means only once, thrice we are using these servers, but still we are still it is consuming entire hard disk, and then as well as the operating system as well as the application software. Of course, still I have to pay the license for this one for yearly basis, for license for the operating system license for yearly basis, and build software and OS software. So all these software licenses I have to pay in a yearly basis. So not something usage basis, something I only yearly I'll use something only twice or thrice I'll use it. Please pay. I'll pay the license for that cost only. So no, it won't happen like this. So that means so we are wasting our resources in a if you see in the backup servers, all the servers we are wasting our hard disk as well as the OS and then application software. Hard disk and then OS and then build software, hard disk OS and then deployment, hard disk OS and then database software. So if you see all these boxes, how we can optimize this process. So if you if you just think about it, how we can optimize this process. So we can optimize this process, and then so something what will happen, yeah, so that is one case, something one application server is down. So again backup server is there, backup server only once or twice where you are using it, but still you are paying the entire yearly license cost like OS and then hard disk. So again what is happening here, something, any hard disk is failure here, something what happened if hard disk is failure here. So what is happening, even though your OS is working fine and then your application software is working fine, your entire machine will not work. Okay, sir, please concentrate on this. So something what will happen if something hard disk is something crashed, something hard disk is not working. So what will happen here? Even though your operating system is working fine, so there is no problem in the operating system, and then even though and your application software also there is no problem in that application software. So what will happen? Your entire system is down, so you cannot able to access that machine. Okay, that same is applicable for so build server as well as a deployment server as well as a database server, and then that same is applicable for your backup server as well. Something hard disk is failed, something our hard disk is failed, what will happen? So even though our OS is fine and then application software is fine, and then OS is fine and then build software is fine, OS is fine and then deployment software is fine, OS is fine and database software is fine, so still your machine is not accessible and it is not working. Okay, so that means what? There is complete 100% dependency on so hard disk here. So yeah, so if you slowly move to the operating system, okay, something your hard disk is something hard disk, there is no problem in the hard disk, and then application software also there is no problem in that, but something OS is crashed. So what will happen? So you cannot access the machine. Sorry, so OS, even though OS is crashed, so your application software is fine and then hard disk is also fine, so you cannot access the machine. Okay, that same is applicable for all the eight servers, application server and then build server and then deployment server and then database server, and then backup server, so backup application server, backup build server, and then backup deployment server and then backup database server. Okay, that means there is something 100% dependency on the each and every layer. Something this is a layer, something hard disk layer, and then OS layer, and then application software is layer. Something it is hard disk is not working, what will happen? Your entire system you cannot access, even though your OS and then application software is working fine. So even though your OS is crashed, if your OS is crashed, so even though hard disk is fine and then application software is fine, so we cannot access the machine. Okay, so we have seen two disadvantages of using the conventional and traditional uh, way of hardware, way of working with the hardware. Applications we are seeing simple application. So what will happen? We have to use at least 4 servers. 4 to 8 as the 5 servers. So one is application server, and then build server, and then deployment server, and then fourth one is database server. Okay, so for application server I have a, again for each and every application server I have a application software, and then what happened, operating system, and then hard disk, HDD. The same way you have a, for build server also I need something, build software. Okay, alright. Yeah, well, so build server, yeah. So build server also builds software, something any other software. So operating system again, and then hard disk. So again deployments are also same thing. I will copy it. Deployment server, and then it's a database server. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so these are the mainline servers. Okay, and then we need a backup server for all these machines. Okay, so again backup servers needs application software, software, and then operating system, and then hard disk. Okay, so what are the disadvantages? We have seen it. And then for hardware side, so for each and every machine requires a Ethernet card, something NIC card, so we have to purchase that also. So that means, so even though we are not backup servers, we use only when main servers are crashed or not running.
హలో రాబర్ట్ గారు వినిపిస్తుందా అండి?
చెప్పండి.
కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ గా చెప్తారా? అప్పటి నుంచి అదే చెప్తున్నారు, ఇంకేం చెప్పట్లేదు.
ఓకే,
మేము రాసేసుకున్నాం ఇది యాక్చువల్లీ నోట్స్, సో కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ చెప్తారా?
ఓకే. సో అంటే ఇప్పుడు సో వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్, సంథింగ్ ఇఫ్ సంథింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఈస్ డౌన్, then what will happen? So entire machine will be crashed. Okay, something that means we are why we are saying again and again, because we are saving hardware as well as OS cost here. Something if you want to optimize this one, so anyway, if you know this one, that you know, I don't know. How can we optimize this process? Yeah, how can we optimize this process? Can you tell me? How can you optimize this process? So we can buy one server, Yeah, suppose if you want to this optimize this process, how can we do it is, so we have a server, so we take one server, and then so we buy the hardware. And then so instead of okay, so instead of buying the so instead of installing the operating system, so what will happen, so we will directly insert or we will load the virtualization software here. So we have a virtualized software is known as something Hyper-V or vSphere or vCenter. So you can buy one hardware and then on top of it virtualized software. So Microsoft is Hyper-V, and then VMware, we have a vSphere, and then vCenter, and then AWS, they have their own software, just like AWS software, and then Fusion software is there. Fusion, they have their own vendors. There are so many vendors are there. So basically, we are calling it as a whatever the technology we are using it. So for virtualization is known as a hypervisor. So we are calling it as a hypervisor, and then softwares we are known as a Hyper-V for the Microsoft, and then VMware, from the VMware we have a vSphere as well as a vCenter. So vSphere and then vCenter we can use it here. So directly if you buy the software from the uh, virtualized software like Microsoft or VMware, so then directly from the on top of the hardware, so directly you can you can use the hypervisor or vSphere or any other software from here, so you can create a number of machines here. Okay, so here we can create a VM1 and number of machines, like we can create a application software here, application server, and then here, so you can something database server, something build server, and then deployment server. So you can create a number of servers on top of this one. So that means you are taking only one hard disk. So you are taking only one hard disk, and then so on top of it so you have a hypervisor, and then vSphere or vCenter, something, it depends on the vendor. So you take from the, if it is a Microsoft, you will take a Hyper-V, and then if it is a VMware and vCenter, you will take it from the VMware software, and then so and then there are so many other softwares are there, like Fusion, and then AWS, and then there are so many vendors are there. Oracle software also there, so you can take any one. So so once you buy the software, so what will happen, on top of it you will create a n number of virtual machines, VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4. You can create a n number of virtual machines. So only one operating system license is enough to, so that means I need not to something, if I want to, like if I create a operating system like if I'm creating 5 servers or 10 servers, what will happen? Only one operating system license is enough for this one. And then the second disadvantage, something what will happen, something is crashed, something my build server is crashed, what will happen? So immediately I'll copy and paste the build server. So there is that means that is only image. So we need not to bother about something. So it is, that means it is not 100% depending on your hardware. So there is no dependency on the hardware. So why we are keep on the pressing is, so it is basically virtualization is separating your hardware from the OS, and then something it is happening, any build server or VM server or any deployment server, something it is crashed, so you can just copy and then paste it. So we need not do something again, we need not to install the software, and then we need not to something format the machine, and we need not to do all those stuff. We just install, we just copy and paste the machine. So once you copy and paste the machine, it will be like your machine only. So this is basically we are calling it as a, this approach we are calling it as a, so type 1 virtualization. Type 1 virtualization. So type 1 virtualization is basically what? So you have only one hardware, and then on top of it we have a software called any other vendor software. You take it, and then from there it will work as an operating system. From there itself you can create a number of virtual machines like VM1 and VM2 and then VM3. So that means you need not to buy a number of hardwares here. You need not to buy the n number of operating system here. Only one operating system and one hardware is enough. So that means you are, so optimize the process. You are saving a lot of cost, and then as well as a hardware cost as well as a software cost here. So this is basically, so type 1 virtualization. So and then we'll see the type 2 virtualization. So type 2 virtualization is something very similar, but it's something very minor differences there. So here we have a hard disk here, and then here we have a operating system, and then on top of the operating system, so we'll use vSphere or vCenter, and then from there we'll create a n number of virtual machines here. So I have a hardware, and then on top of the hardware I'll install the operating system whatever I like it, and then I can install Windows operating system or whatever operating system. On top of the operating system I'll install vSphere or vCenter. From here I'll create a number of virtual machines here. VM1, and then so VM3. Okay, so this is known as a type 2 virtualization. Type 1 virtualization is, so basically, so hardware from the hardware, and then directly and second layer is directly you will take the software, and then virtualized software and then operating system from the vendor, and then on top of it you will install the VM1 and then VM2 and then VM3 and so on. So the same way here in type 2 what will happen? So type 2 is something hardware will purchase the hardware, and then on top of the hardware you will install the operating system, and on top of the operating system, so something on top of the operating system what will happen? We'll install vSphere or vCenter. From there we will get a n number of virtual machines, VM1 and VM2 and then VM3 and then VM4 and then VM and so on. So here I don't have any dependency on the hardware as well as the operating system. Something any machine is down, VM1 is down, VM2 is down, VM3 is down. What will happen? So we just copy and paste. So I don't want to bother about the operating system. What is the operating system? What is the hardware? Hardware it is. రైట్.
హలో రాబర్ట్ గారు,
చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు టైప్ 1 వర్చువలైజేషన్ లో ఓన్లీ సింగిల్ వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ ని మాత్రమే ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయగలుగుతాము, రైట్?
లేదు, చాలా విఎమ్స్ మనం క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు.
టైప్ 1 లో అడుగుతున్నా నేను.
టైప్ 1 లోనే. సో దిస్ ఈస్ VM1 అండ్ VM2 అండ్ దెన్ VM3.
మరి టైప్ 1 కి టైప్ 2 కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి అసలు?
చూడండి, ఒక లేయర్ ఎక్స్ట్రా, ఒక లేయర్, వన్ మోర్ లేయర్ ఇస్ దేర్.
ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఒకటి.
Operating system layer is there. So in type 1, what will happen? So that type 1, that layer we don't have that layer. So that operating system as well as your hard is, so they will give something in the form of chip or something, hardware. So you will load that one, and then it will behave like a operating system. Something we will call it
ఓకే ఓకే.
loader. Sometimes we are calling it as a loader, and then bootstrapping. This concept is there, right? So instead of providing as a software operating system, they'll provide in the form of the hardware, something chip or something floppy disk or whatever in the disk format. So once you insert it, so it will behave like an operating system. So that means you need not to uh, install any operating system on top of your hardware. Okay, so that means that inbuilt, that means whenever you purchase something, virtualized software from the vendor, that operating system it will come inbuilt with the with your software. So you need not to again install the operating system again. So what will happen in the Stripe 2? So on the top of the hardware, so you will install the operating system, like you will install Windows operating system, Linux operating system, whatever operating system you will install it, and from on top of it, and then you will create a vSphere or vCenter, then again vendor specific, and then so after that you will create a number of virtual machines, VM1 and then VM2 and then VM3. So type 1 is a little bit faster. Why? Because so it is booting is very fast, because so whenever you open any application software, so because it has to load entire everything has to load it from the operating system. So but whereas in type 1, so everything is inbuilt. It is something inbuilt with the hardware. Something if you open the any application software, it will very quick, faster, and it will open the software. And then basically it is compared to the type 1, and type 2 is very faster. But type 2, it's very people so many people will use it because so they want something specific on the operating system, something where if there are so many Windows users are there. So what will happen? So people will buy the hardware and then install the Windows operating system, and on the top of the Windows operating system, they'll install the vSphere or vCenter. From vSphere and then vCenter, so they'll create a number of virtual machines, like either Unix virtual machine or Linux virtual machines or Solaris or whatever the operating system they can take it. Okay, that means here is you have a less dependency on the vendor. So there is no vendor specific, and then you need not to depend on anything. But so still type 1 is a faster, because it's because whenever if you there are so many, like 50 virtual machines are there on the particular hardware. Something if you want to open any other virtual machines, it will take some time. So loading time and then booting time. So that time we will reduce in the type 1 virtualization. So okay, so that time we will reduce in the type 1 virtualization, and otherwise it is purely it's both are the same. Type 1 as well as the type 2 is the same. So there is a something layer is there, operating system is there, layer is there in the type 2 virtualization. Okay, so now so why we are stressing so much thing here? There is no dependency on the hardware and then as well as the operating system. So please remember, keep on remember it. So there is no dependency on the hardware as well as the OS. Something, any server is down, any VM is down, you just copy and paste that. So we need not to do any other thing. So but if you go back to our conventional traditional system, what will happen? Something, any machine is down, so you have to replace the hardware, and or something you have to again format the hardware, or you have to again, so you have to reinstall the operating system, or again you have to again install the application software or the build software or something else. So but here, so I don't have any that I need not to do that. I just simply something, any VM is crashed, something I just copy and then paste it. That is the thing. Okay, so you understood, right?
యా.
Yeah, so this is a very good concept, so that is why we are stressing, and then so here, so people why we are creating the virtual machine? So we discussed it because something hardware. So we want to optimize our resources. So here I optimize my hard disk as well as a operating system, because I purchased only one operating system here, because I saved more than 4 or 5 operating system cost here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So right. So network interface cards and then so many hardwares also I saved it here. So
Mm.
so now it's a cluster computing. This is the cluster, and then people.
VirtualBox kuda, it is also one kind of VMware kada?
Yes, yes, yeah.
VMware vendor software.
Yeah, yeah, Oracle VirtualBox. That is also Fusion,
Mm.
Oracle, VMware, Oracle VirtualBox.
Which is the best one అంటే లైక్ దీని వల్ల ప్రాసెసింగ్ బాగుంటుంది అనేది?
And again, it's vendor specific, and so Microsoft people they will go for something Microsoft Hyper-V, and then VMware, because virtualization it is starts from the VMware software. Okay, so that's VMware very popular on this area. So actually they are dominant on this area. Okay, so they are dominant
Mm-hmm.
from so many years, and then they have n number of softwares, n number of softwares and n number of type 1 and type 2, and everything they'll so only VMware you can VMware is providing all these softwares, type 1 and then as well as the type 2, and then so by default people will call it virtualization, means people will call it as a VMware. So vSphere and then vCenter and then hypervisor and then the ESXi and then XI. So these are so very that granular hierarchical softwares, but people know it as a VMware. So VMware is the best one for the virtualization.
Okay.
Okay, so Oracle also providing Oracle VirtualBox. So Oracle Virtual and Fusion. There are, of course, nowadays AWS is very popular for the cloud computing. Okay, so we'll see what is the cloud computing. Okay. So cluster computing again. So why we need a cluster computing again? So because something, I have a 5 GB hard disk here. Okay, so it is a cluster computing, and so right now I have one machine, like it has a hard disk, 5 GB hard disk, and then it has an operating system and it has some software on it. So but what is happening, so I am getting some requests, so I'm getting something request which has a more than 5 GB, so it needs something more than 5 GB. Okay, so I am getting some request which needs something more than 5 GB hard disk is required. Something, my machine is there, my laptop or your desktop is there, which has a 5 GB something hard disk, so 5 GB or 300 GB hard disk or whatever hard disk is there, and then operating system is there, and then software is there. Something I want to install, I want to install something SAP on my machine. So if I want to install SAP on my machine, so what will happen? I have to upgrade my hard disk. I have to upgrade my hard disk, because so it needs more hardware what is there in my present existing system, right? So in that case what will happen, so people something, if you whenever you are getting request more than 5 GB or 10 GB, that means more than capacity whatever you have. So in that case it cannot serve, it cannot serve the purpose. Okay, so this machine cannot serve the purpose. So that means instead of put it in the dustbin on this entire machine, so what will happen, people create another machine with the same configuration or higher configuration, and then they'll connect these two machines, and then they'll make it as a cluster, so that these two machines can behave like a same machine. Okay, so here again I am taking HDD 5 GB, and then OS, and then something software is there here. Okay, something I am getting the 6 GB request. So what will happen is something request is coming, so that request from the other third party softwares or any other software, so what will happen, something one request is coming that needs I think 6 GB hardware to perform a task. So but I have only 5 GB in my machine, so but I have other machine which has the same 5 GB. Okay, so in that case what will happen, so I have a two machines, why can't we connect these two machines, why can't we make these two machines as a one machine, or why can't I take the request, and then so these two machines can share the hardware capacity and then perform the request and then send the response to the requester. So that is where actually, so we have a cluster computing. So that means cluster, instead of buying the new hardware, something instead of the upgrading your new hardware, so I'll create a new, so I whatever the other machine is there, so I'll use other conventional and traditional machines, and then I'll make it as a cluster, and then so I'll serve the purpose whatever the request is coming from, even though it is beyond my capacity. Even though I have a 5 GB capacity, but I'm getting the 6 GB request, and then 7 GB request, and 8 GB request, or even though 100 GB request. So I'll create a n number of machines and then make it as a cluster. Make it as a cluster, and then so these machines will share the hardware resources and then perform perform the whatever the request is coming, and then send the response to the requester. Okay, that means end user for you and me, it is basically, so there is only one machine is doing the things. We don't know how many cluster machines are there in the behind it. So why we need a cluster, using the two reasons, mainly the two reasons, high availability and then high throughput, or you can say high performance. High availability means what will happen, something if I am getting the uh, 5 GB request, 6 GB request, 7 GB request, maybe 100 GB request also coming. So then even though n number of GB requests are coming, or n number of people are hitting the server, so then that in that case also I am able to serve the purpose. Let us say best example is take the Google. So take the Google, and even though one people is accessing and then thousands of millions of people are accessing, it will give the same performance. Something if there is any network problem is there, so you will see something performance varies, it will see the you will see the same performance. So even though 1 lakh people are hitting the server, and then 1000 people are hitting the server, only one people are hitting the server. Why? Because so it has a n number of clustered machines behind. So behind there are n number of clustered machines are there, so that is why. So that means high availability, so that is why we are calling it as a high availability and then high throughput. So end user doesn't know, so because I don't know how many clustered machines are there in clustered machines. Google is using the thousands clustered machines or 1 lakh clustered machines, I don't know basically. So basically we know only we'll eating the server and then getting the response, only we know that only. So that means there is something very complex high availability clusters are there behind any Google or Yahoo or any other server. So Google people never say that because of the 10 lakhs, yes, today 10 lakhs people hit the server, so that is why our servers are not available, so we are unable to we are unable to take the request, so we never say so. But in our organization we'll see that something not able to hit the server. You might have seen something application servers, people will say that because of the high hits, because server is down, so n number of people, 1 lakh people are hitting the server. That is why, because server is down, server is not able to do the uh, you know uh, do perform the activities and then send the response. So that is the main drawback of not using the clustered machines, because here we'll use a number of clustered machines, we don't know, end user doesn't know. So whether you are using a 5 GB hard disk or 100 GB hard disk, it doesn't matter to the end user. But here behind, so you have not only two machines here, I'm just mentioned the two machines here, hundreds of machines are there. So hundreds and thousands of lakhs of machines are there. All these machines are connected to each other, and then they'll share the hardware capacity. Okay, so they'll share the hardware capacity. Maybe these machines are like a simple machines only, maybe like 100 GB. Each and every machines have 100 GB machines, like your desktop and then my desktop only. So that is why also it's a Hadoop technology, Hadoop and then big data technology also very popular. So here what will happen, something something what will happen, something you can say that so why should I get the new machine again, one more machine, 5 GB machine. So why can't I why can't I upgrade my hardware? So why can't I upgrade my like 10 GB or 20 GB, 300 GB or 400 GB, 5 terabytes? So hardware, yes, still you can take the 5 terabytes, you can upgrade your machine as a 5 terabyte hard disk. So you can make it as a server. So what will happen, so again you have to buy the operating system in the server side operating system. So you have to pay the server side operating system as well as the server side hardware. You have to pay the huge cost to the hardware as well as the operating system. So but here I have a simple operating system, not server side Windows server. So if you go and purchase the license, Microsoft license, from the normal license is different, something different. And if you buy the Windows 2003 servers, Windows 2003 or 2005 or something servers are there, that server license is is different. Server license is very costly, you cannot buy it. Okay, so that is why people, so taking the same simple machines and then connecting to each other, making the clustered machines. And then so these machines are connected to each other, and then so they perform the activity and then send the response to the requester. So this doesn't matter how much of hard disk it is hard disk, and then how much of request it is coming, it doesn't bother about it, because so it's not a end of the day, it is not a one machine. So we have thousands of machines are there. Even the one request is coming, 100 requests are coming, so they'll share the activity and then they'll perform the activity, and then so they'll send the response to the end user. So that is why we are using a clustered. So one of the disadvantages of the clustered machines are it's a tightly coupled something. So each and every machines are something connected to each other. So if you want to, one machine is down, so that means it will take some time to bring back to the new machine, or making the connections to uh, making something, changing connection from one machine to other machine, it will take some time. That means it is a tightly coupled. And then so what will happen, and then most of the times these clustered machines are homogeneous software, homogeneous vendors, something each and every hardware vendor is all most of the time it is same, homogeneous vendors are the same. And then and then and then most of the time it will work on the single LAN only. So that means within the LAN, like any other something, your company is there, your company LAN. So it will work on your only LAN only, for your within the organization LAN only. Okay. So this is the clustered software, clustered computing. And then so if you go just behind, if you go on clustered, and then people will call it as a parallel computing. So way of doing the parallel things, like so uh, one task can be performed by n number of people. One task will share by the people. N number of machines will share the one task, and then they'll perform that task, and then they'll combine the task and then send back to the response to the requester. So cluster computing is there, and then one more concept is called. So there is after cluster computing we have a parallel computing. People call it as a parallel computing, and then there are so many computing, like we have a computing called grid computing, and then grid computing is basically it's a using the cluster computing. What we are doing is we are sharing, most of the time we are sharing the hardware capacity, that means high availability and then high throughput. So whereas a grid computing is nothing but a supercomputer. So if you might have, you might have heard about the supercomputer. So supercomputer is basically, so it, it concentrates more on the processing power. So rather than the hard disk, how much of hard disk is there, 100 GB hard disk or 200 GB hard disk or 300 GB hard disk, it doesn't bother about the hard disk. Of course it needs something hardware, but its main focus on the processing power. That means I have a uh, uh, something request is coming from the requester. It is saying that, so there are something large data, bulk data is there. So you have to process the entire data, and then you have to filter the data, and then you have to send back the results to the requester. So in that case, what will happen? So we don't focus on the hard disk. We focus on the processing power. Processing power means, so it needs something high level algorithms, and then so whenever you need something, you want to perform very complex C programmings, and then system side programmings, and then as well as a algorithms, then it will take then you will need a grid computing or supercomputing. That means like sensex data, or uh, weather forecast data, and then so weather forecast data, something 20 years data I am sending with last 20 years data, weather data. So and which month the rain came, and then so what is the rainfall average. Those details from last 20 years data, they'll say last 20 years or 30 years or last 100 years data, they'll send it to the your supercomputer, and then supercomputers will process, enter the data, like filter the data, and then it will change, it will filter it year by year wise, and then it will compare the each and every year, and then it will do the complete analysis, and then it will give the complete something result. So this year we may expect so rainfall on this month, and then the rainfall, so maybe something average, on an average you can get like this. So it will do something numbers. So that what we are trying to tell is, so your cluster computing is completely 100% is focused on the hard disk, that means sharing the hardware capacity, and then your grid computing and supercomputing is basically, it is again focusing on the processing speed. So processing speed rather than the hard disk. Okay. So supercomputers, what are the supercomputers? So it's what are the processors, and what are the computers are added to the supercomputers are loosely coupled. That means something is happened to any machine, so you can plug and play. You can remove the machine, and then you can add the machines immediately, and then so it needs not only LAN, it needs something dedicated internet. So supercomputers are not, it won't work without internet. So it needs something dedicated line for the supercomputer, because it needs something lot of processing power. Okay, so this is basically this is basically it's cluster computing as well as a grid computing, and then so we'll see the cloud computing tomorrow. So and then we have seen like cluster computing and grid computing, and then type 1 and then type 2 virtualizations, and we have seen how conventional traditional systems, so it is like so installing the software, and then buying the new hardware, and then installing the new Ethernet card, and then all these machines are connected to the internet, and then something, one machine is down, so what will happen? We need to depend on the backup server, and then so something OS is down, so what will happen? Your entire machine will be down, and you cannot access. Something hardware is down, so your entire machine will be down, and you cannot access it. And then so we have seen the cluster computing. Cluster computing is basically focused on the hardware capacity. Something, so end user doesn't know which one computer you are using it, or two computers you are using it. So because we have a, and the back end we have a n number of cluster machines are there. So these machines are basically clustered machines. So clustered machines we use for the only, so mainly two reasons. One is high throughput, and then high performance. That means high performance, something one user is eating the server and then 100 users are eating the server and then 1 lakh users are eating the server. That means it will be the same result. That is a high performance or high throughput. So high availability means on any environment, in any case, on whatever the things happen, like in any disaster, so still your application will be available. So something disaster, any disaster like natural disasters something earthquake or whatever things are happening, still your machines are available. Still you can access the Google. So whatever may be happen, whether so the tsunami or earthquakes or whatever may be happen, so still you can access the Google. So best example is the Google for high throughput as well as a high availability. Why? Because we have a n number of clustered machines behind. Back end they have n number of clustered machines are there. So that is why it's a very so it has a high throughput and then high performance and high availability is there. And then so we have a grid computing and the supercomputing. Grid computing and the supercomputing only available for those. It's a very bulk data and then complex data like big data and then Hadoop. So people want to process very huge data. So there are huge data and then unstructured data, and then in that case, so your supercomputer will take will take the bulk data and then will take the huge data, and then like 100 GB data and then 200 GB data and then 500 GB, whatever the data it comes, it will irrespective of the size, it will take the data and then it will divide into the n number of tasks, and then so each and every task will give it to the each and every other machine, and then so once that each and every machine will perform the task, and then this combine these tasks, and then so and then filter the data, and then so again it will do the analysis and then it will send back to the requester. It will send back to the requester. This is known as a grid computing. And then so and then other concept is a cloud computing. So cloud computing. What is the cloud computing? So if you see our first diagram, so we didn't separate the application software. So cloud computing will it will separate. It will further one more level. It will separate application also. Okay. So your virtualization is separating what? Virtualization is separating from your hardware from the OS, and then cloud computing is separating your application from the hardware as well as the OS. So boss, you don't depend your application. Something your application is. If you want to work on any application, you don't depend on the hardware as well as the OS. Okay. So but whereas virtualization it is still happening. Something your application is still something depends on your OS. Something your OS is crashed, what will happen? Your application will be crashed. You cannot access the application. So in cloud computing, we will go to the further level. So that means separating each and every layer. That means separating the software as well as a OS as well as a hard disk. Something each and everything is separated and independent. So there is no dependency on the each and everything. Something OS is down, yeah, still I can access my software and then I can take my hardware. Something hardware is down, still I can work with OS and then I can work with the software. Okay, so this is the basic concept of the virtualization, and then so cluster computing, and then so grid computing, and then so supercomputer. Okay, so cluster computing are also a number of types like parallel computing, and then people divide into different types, and then we will see something with time topics. Otherwise, it's okay. So if you know it, it's okay. So we'll leave that. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow we'll discuss the cloud computing, and then we're slowly moving into the cloud computing. So that is why I'm discussing this again and again. Okay, yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll wind up today, and then so we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, yeah,
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 yeah. Can you share the document?
sure.
Can you share the file?
Yeah, sure. I'll share the file. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Krishna, are you able to understand?
Okay.
But yes, hello,
Thank you.
Robert, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Okay.